Yo guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another podcast. The first one did really good. The first one we talked about Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker, whether it was good, whether it was bad. Today, I'm with Dayton, a good friend of mine from school, and we're going to be talking about life as a high schooler and like all the difficulties and different things that you go through in high school, but more importantly, it's like not high school, but just our life right now as teenagers. So go ahead, introduce yourself, Dayton.
My name's Dayton. As he already said, we're pretty good friends, and life as a high schooler, I mean, can be ups and downs.
Something that I feel like has to be said is high school to me sucks. Like, literally, I have a friend. He tells me every day how much money, to the exact dollar amount, he could be making at the time he's at school. And honestly, we're sitting in there learning about, things we're never going to use in life. I mean, calculus. Like, I don't need calculus. I don't need algebra. Dude, I just need to know how to multiply.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't need to know this stuff.
They say, like, basic of, like, 5th grade math is honestly what you need to know for, like, the rest of your life. And they say you can, like, long division. Like, how often, like, honestly, do you use long division in your everyday life?
Exactly. And
I mean,
the whole concept of math is important. And I love math as a subject. But it's one of the biggest parts about it is it can be taught literally millions of different ways.
Right.
And so I grew up in Virginia. So I moved from Virginia to Kansas knowing how to do math my way, and I had to learn the other way or else it was counted wrong.
Right. I mean, I'm like, I wouldn't call myself a construction major, but I'm going into the construction field. I mean, we use like metric systems and like maybe like measuring system like rulers and stuff like that, right? And like that math, that's the math that I really need to know to understand my job for me. And like that's the basic math for like my like what I want to go into. I mean, you calculus, you have like what pre-AP, like what everything like that.
Yeah,
it's awful. I mean, these teachers are just piling homework after homework on these kids that like it's not needed. Maybe showing them like a more statistical way of like in work would be a lot better.
Exactly, because honestly, in all realisticness, all a kid needs is the bare minimum,
Right?
Especially a high schooler, because let's see here. If you're going to be a doctor, you're going to need calculus. Certain forms of engineering, mostly nuclear, mechanical, not really. But those are like science and like engineering are the only two fields that you're ever going to have to use. Really, anything you learn past 8th grade.
Right.
English for me, I like my middle school English teacher. I'm allowed to talk trash on her because she literally had like a lawsuit filed against her, and so that was like whatever. But English, I feel like English is important to learn.
Yeah.
Because especially we're both juniors, by the way, in high school. This year I've learned how to properly write an essay, which I think is important because it teaches you how to talk as well.
Right.
But math and science are just useless. And then the history I'm taking now, I took in 7th grade. And it's like, what's the point?
History is ultimately, for me, is a useless subject because, I mean, like, yes, I understand, like, teaching people nowadays, like, of what culture was back then, which, like, we're both in American history, and American history for us is, like, it's all been about the stock market and, like, maybe, like, the Great Depression and what's happened before what, like, that. There's nothing been, like, evident, like maybe, like a world war, or maybe, like, something that like literally is important. And I know the stock market is important, but it's like to drag something like that out for like months is awful to learn about.
And that is the most idiotic thing about high school, because my brother and my sisters are both in college, and they're all in very different fields. My sister is a sociology major, so like I think she wants to be a missionary, like work in missions type of thing. My other sister is getting an art degree, and then my brother is in engineering. And my sister, I was literally talking about math, and she started laughing, and she said, "Wow, I haven't done math in 3 years." And she is fresh out of high school compared to how long life is.
Right.
And hasn't done math in 3 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's the point? And then with history, you can learn all of history in such a short amount of time. I'm not talking about like you can't learn 1700s
like everything
until now. But the history we're taking is a year long.
I mean, you can literally go on websites that are online and go.
And that's all we do anyways. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Awful.
I mean, I enjoy our teacher, and I enjoy learning. Like, I love to learn about history, and I love to learn those, like, weird, interesting facts. But I don't need to learn it from someone who went to school for it.
Right.
They have a textbook. Honestly, if, like, I got a packet every day that said, answer these questions in this chapter,
and that would be so easy.
And then you retain the information still, because the main part about textbooks is people read it and they don't retain the information because they just skim it.
Yeah.
But if you have something to say, look for this. I mean, that's all that's what we do.
That's a constant of what I hear of a lot of people talk about too. Is they're like, well, teachers aren't explaining enough information to me for me to grasp it. I'm not taking like adequate notes to understand this information. Like, I mean, having a hard resource for someone is always really good because people can look at that resource and be like, oh, okay, well, this is really good to have, and I can read like a study guide for a test. It's something they have a hard copy of. They can look over it multiple times if they want to, and but now you can't do that because I mean, how many kids really have internet at home in our school? Like, maybe I'd say half.
Yeah, I would definitely. Internet now is a lot different than internet. I mean, do you remember when having internet in second grade? Because I remember when, like, internet obviously came out, 85, something like that?
I think it was 87, but I could be incorrect.
It's somewhere in that range, so it's a lot older than us. But, I mean, if you think about how long it took them, I mean, it was like when the first plasma screen TV was made. The first one made was like $5,000.
Right.
And now you can go buy one on sale for like $150.
Yeah, they have a 55-inch, like, we were in Walmart the other day. There's a 55-inch 4K TV for like $468.
Yeah.
Like, down to the exact dollar, and I remembered it, because I mean, it's crazy. And it's literally, and now they're coming out with something called an OLED TV, which is, it's like an LED systems where you can, it's like a little bar, like it looks like a sound bar.
Yeah.
And you can pull the TV out of it, and it's literally like this thin. It's literally like less than a quarter inch thin. Like, it's crazy.
Now, I guarantee you the person that made that didn't care about calculus in high school. Gosh dang. And for me, I literally, I know this is how it's like for kids, because every time I talk about this, literally the response I get is like retweet or like, yes, felt that. The only reason I go to school is for the friends and for the sports after.
Exactly.
If I wasn't in a sport, I would literally be dropping out. And our school doesn't even allow us to graduate early.
Exactly. Well, yeah, and even if you do get to graduate so-called early, it's literally 2 months. And what's the point of dropping before two? Like, it's 2 months. Just stick it out. And if you have like graduated early, just take all electives. It's that easy. It's literally just more credits towards the college you can go to.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, which I don't understand why people drop out anyways, but it's, and like, not only is like textbook life hard, like doing the work and everything, but it's just like people too. There's a lot of people in like, and I'm not just saying like our school, but like for most people in general, there's a lot of people that, I mean, I don't know, like know the exact percentage, but a lot of people are bullied, like, and that's kind of sad. And like, I can see it. I don't see it as much as in our school, but I've been to other schools like when I was younger. For my entire high school career, I've been at the same school.
Yeah.
But as a middle schooler and an elementary schooler, I mean, I was bullied as a kid, and I've been on both sides of the spectrum, and it's really awful to see like what it's like progress into now. Because I mean, these kids have been bullied their entire lives, and it's really, really bad because a lot of the people in the school just don't care. They won't even notice the fact of what's going on.
Yeah. Like, okay, with bullying, I can say bullying is something that's oftentimes just put into this, like, bullying, don't do it. And it's like, okay, but what is bullying?
Right.
And, like, where's the line? Because I think I technically should have like be in the category of I was bullied as a kid.
Right.
But I was just incapable of realizing I was being bullied.
Yeah, well, I wasn't that way. It was more of like, I would hang out with these kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would think like they were my friends. Like, and I at that time I didn't even see it as bullying. I mean, now that I look back at it, and I'm like, whoa, I was actually bullied. And then it was like, well, I would hang around the group, and they would just make fun of me the entire time, and I'd be like, haha, yeah, dude, I'm pretty stupid.
I'm pretty dumb, dude.
I'm pretty stupid. And then like eventually, like, as you see it now, that all wears on a person. Because, like, I mean, if you call somebody dumb constantly, they're actually going to think they're stupid. And, like, it's just crazy because, like, it didn't really affect me like that. Because I kind of just noticed it before it really could. But I have a younger sibling that's like that. And, like people call him dumb. And he actually thinks he is. And which is really sad. And, you know, really, it's just a lot of people just don't realize they're being bullied until you get older, and then when they realize they are, it just comes like way worse on them, you know. And it's really tough to see other people like that as well.
On to the next subject.
Okay.
Relationships in high school. Literally the dumbest thing ever. When I was in middle school, my brother is, how do I say it? My brother is hot. Okay, my brother is an attractive person. I'm not gonna put it like bluntly. Literally, I literally, when someone's like, hey, what does your brother look like? I'm like, oh, it's my brother, and they're like,
no, you have the exact line of, my brother is hot.
I mean, but you know what I mean? I mean, like, it was never a doubt in my mind. And my brother, he had girlfriends in high school.
Yeah,
I mean, and he had. More importantly, he had long-term relationships in high school.
Right.
And he was my role model. Like I figured, I'm gonna get to high school. I had his moves.
I'm a vibe in high school.
I had my brother's moves. He had taught me everything. He was like, "Hey, Venice, you know, when you see a girl, that's what you gotta do." And I was like, "All right, I got you." So I had game, and I had, because I haven't had a relationship in over a year, and I've had 3 relationships in high school.
Right.
I had 2 my freshman year and 1 my sophomore year.
Exactly. Yeah.
My freshman year, the first one lasted for 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. The second one lasted for a week. And the third one lasted for 4 days. 4 days. And I can't lock them down. If you're not in high school or you're out of high school, then you either do or you don't understand that it's not just the girls' fault. Like, I'm not gonna pin it on just the girls. It was partially me too, of you're just so bipolar that you don't know what you're doing.
I mean, a lot of people, I don't know, in like specific cases, I can't really name one, but like in relationships that I do see in school, there are a lot of people who will go from like guy to guy to girl for girl, right? And it's just like they want to just test what it is. And statistics show that a high school relationship, a normal one, is lasting at 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's awful.
And it's nothing that I don't think in my past relationships, I don't think there's anything I could have done to make it go better. And I don't think that it's wrong for me to pin the blame on them.
Right.
Because it's who they are. And so, like, a lot of times, especially in high school, it's, well, this person did this, so that's why they broke up.
Right.
And it's not that. My last relationship, our personalities just didn't mesh, and I thought they did. I thought, like, we had talked for, like, you know how,
it was
like,
while,
2 months? And so I was like, okay, I'm vibing with this girl, and vibes change as soon as you start dating.
Exactly.
As soon as you start dating.
You guys, okay, so it's like a lot of people will get into this point to where they see this other person, right? And they're like, okay, maybe she's someone I can, like, grow with. I mean, whether that's, like, spiritually or, like, mentally or physically. Like, I don't know, not physically, but...
Physically. Don't have sex in high school. That's just, we're just going to say that right now.
Okay, but it's like, okay, it's just, you see that person, and you're like, this is someone I want to be with. And then you get to that point to where, like, you guys get together, and it's kind of rough, and you're like, well, we're together. What steps do we take now? What do we do? I mean, like, yeah, we can hang out, but, like, how do we do that? And a lot of people don't get to that point. Like some people don't even get to that point.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll date for like a few days and then be like, this is awkward. And then one of them's just like, hey, go tell him to break up with me.
Exactly.
You know? Exactly.
And the reason that is, let me tell you, is a darn app known as Snapchat. I don't know who made it, but I hate the app because, so being able to just, like, I have Snap conversations where it's literally for an entire day, we won't say a word, we'll just literally just send pictures of our face.
Yeah.
So you get that feeling of seeing that person. You get the feeling of conversation without having to text anything, which is really nice. The only problem is that, like, there's been several times when I'll be snapping a girl from my school, and then I'll go and talk to them, and they're like, "Oh,
yeah," they're shy, and it's crazy.
And it's like,
well,
you just went off on me last night. We had this.
Edit that out.
Nope.
Edit that out.
Nope.
Okay, back to the subject.
So, like, they'll go off on them. Like you'll share, like, not intimate feelings, but you'll have a conversation that feels meaningful.
Right.
And then you'll try to talk in real life, and it's like meeting them for the first time.
Well, yeah, it's way easier to talk through phone. Everybody can agree on that.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, you're someone who's poco loco and can just talk to anybody, And but and that's just not me. I feel like it's easier for me to talk over the phone.
Yeah.
And like I get kind of nervous when I talk to new people that I've never met before. But I think it's really I think I can really agree on that because it's a lot of people just are way more nervous to talk in person than they are over the phone.
Mm-hmm. That's something that I've had to come to terms with, and part of the reason I don't have a girlfriend. So first of all, up until recently, I was fat, and so my chances of getting a girlfriend were already lower. And which I'm gonna, you know what? Screw this. I'm gonna talk about this for a second. It's stupid to think that if someone is overweight, you can't tell them.
Yeah.
People had put a shield around me of, hey, you're not fat, you're fluffy, or you're heavy boned. No.
I don't think
I was not.
I never said it.
Yeah, you never said. I'm like you guys just kind of avoided the subject because I was always calling myself
it's
fat.
Not, it's okay. So you're not gonna like walk up to me and be like, hey, you're brown.
you're brown.
Like it's not something you're just gonna walk up and say to someone, and like. Or like, yeah, it might get brought up in conversation, but it's not something I'm gonna sit here and be like, yeah, you're fat, like you are.
I'm not gonna talk about me much more because I'm actually gonna make another video about this.
Right.
But people need to be more bluntly honest about certain things because it puts There's this guy Gary V. Do you know who that is? Gary Vaynerchuk.
I've got no clue.
He's from Ukraine, I think.
Okay.
And he said that in 6th grade. He had no concept of him being less attractive than anyone else because his mom had always been like, you're the cutest person on planet Earth. And so then when he finally realized he wasn't, he was like,
oh, wow.
What?
Yeah.
And so that's what's happening in high school. I mean, people...
Yeah. So many kids are just soft.
Yes, like, I don't care what you say. You are what you are.
You are what you
Own
are.
up to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fact that a person might be dumb. A person might not be this, might not be that. And so if someone asks me and I'm not being rude about it, I'm just saying, hey, you're not that smart of a person.
Right.
Because they don't deserve to think they're smart if they literally aren't smart.
So what I did, since that's subject to me, I'm not a very smart guy, and I'm not really the most like athletic dude. But I'm like, people always like, dude, you're just so chill, And I'm like, well, I can be. And so what I did, I was just like, okay, well, I'll take that because I consider myself to be kind of a chill guy. So I took that and just ran with it. I was like, well, it's all right. I'm just gonna be me, and it's just if people just think I'm a chill dude, it's just how it's gonna have to be. And I was just like, you're gonna be blunt honest with me, and I just would not care.
And I can say that being bluntly honest it's kind of a teeter-totter. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, it's... how do I put this?
It's like a guessing game.
Yeah. That's a great way of putting it. Some people are going to be able to take it and some people aren't. But here's what I can say is don't ever just go up and say something that is true about a person directly unless they ask. Like, I feel like if I would have opened up and said, hey, do you think this about me? I don't know. Do you think my long hair looks good? Which no one has ever said no to that. They've always said yes. But, like, if someone would finally just have an opinion about something about me that was genuine, then you don't have to change yourself, but you can look at yourself differently. Because I think I'm funny, but if I asked someone, hey, am I funny, and they said no, I would be devastated. But at the same time, I'd be like, okay, so maybe I'm not as cool as I think I am. And so you adjust yourself accordingly.
Right.
And I think that's important, especially for kids getting ready to go into the where you're just gonna meet random people you don't know.
Right. That's something I see too, as really important for like you said, a lot of kids are really sheltered, and especially I don't know, I'm not talking just about like our high school in general. A lot of people in high school, like even on movies, you can still see it too. And I'm not like trying to compare like life to a movie, but like it's kind of true. I mean, you have these kids in movies, and you see these kids in your school, maybe even in a workplace, that have been told they're so good at what they do, that just sit there and just, oh yeah, I'm so good at this. I can do whatever. I can mess up, and nobody's gonna care. And then when that one person calls them out, they throw a fit. It's crazy, exactly. And that's how sheltered a lot of people that I've seen are. And when that shell cracks, that little bubble they have around them, when that pops, they go off, and it's terrible. People cannot deal with any constructive criticism either, and it's terrible.
And that, I think it should be required for everyone to do a high school sport they've never done.
Right.
Because my freshman year I did baseball, and in middle school I was the captain of my baseball team, and literally I was good at baseball. But my 7th grade year I threw out my arm pitching at a game, and so ever since then my shoulder had been messed up. But that freshman year I played baseball, and I had already played it, so I was comfortable. I knew how good I was,
right.
And I knew how good everyone else was, so I knew where I belonged. The next year I did soccer, and I didn't know what I was doing. I had never played soccer before. Yeah. And so it gives you this, the coach is going to say, you're not doing that right.
Right.
And you're gonna have to readjust yourself and be like, okay, Definitely. I'm not doing it right. I have to figure out how to do it and how to make the correction. And that's something that can't be taught at a school, because, I mean, if I get a math problem wrong,
right.
then it's because I did something wrong, but there's only one way to fix it.
There's an order to it.
Yeah, with sports, it's just
technically it could still be an order, but it's just if you want to take that order.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? You want to take the order to fix the order.
Exactly.
So it's just a whole ordeal of people that are just no, I think my way's better, so I don't have to listen to what you have to say because I think that I'm better than you are. And it's awful. And I can see that I just started a new job, and I can see at the workplace, this other guy got hired, and he just doesn't take anything. Somebody told him he was doing it wrong, and he's like, no, I'm good. I was like, dude, are you kidding me?
You're copping, bro. You're
copping. Dog. It's ridiculous. And, man, it's just ridiculous.
Well, unfortunately, we are running out of time. So, Dayton, give, for anyone, I would say ranges 12 to 19, give a piece of advice on just a piece of advice,
My piece of advice would be, don't wear the same pair of socks for more than a week straight, because your feet get kind of itchy. I did it when I was younger, and I was I peeled off the sock one day, and I was like, bro, why my foot black?
Oh my goodness.
All right, guys. This is probably the end of the video.
Okay. Yes, that was me and my friend Dayton having a podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, like and subscribe down below and comment for topics to do in future podcasts. I got lots of friends. I got lots of things to say. So as always, have a great week, guys. Peace.
See ya.